Kounde, for me, is the best right back in the world. His qualities are powerful. His versatility is also golden, and a huge plus for Barcelona. The fact that we saw him play as a center back and also as a right back, he can work within those areas. And the best thing from all of this is that he can defend and also attack extremely well. He never leaves Lamine Yamal by himself. He also never leaves Rafinha by himself. One of the ways that Barcelona were able to defeat Atletico Madrid was because of Kounde's efficiency on the right flank. The way that he put Riquelme and Lino in his pocket, it was just almost embarrassing for all Atletico Madrid fans because they could not get through Kounde. And Kounde also provided many great through passes that led towards Fermin Lopez receiving the ball multiple times to progress the attack. I do believe that if Barcelona want to be successful this season and in the next season with different coaches, the one thing that you must keep is a three-man backline with Kounde as the right center back. That is his perfect position, and he's only going to get better from here. In this match against Atletico Madrid, he got to 84 touches, which was probably one of the most, 6 touches in the opponent's box, 4 passes into the final third, 5 out of 8 ground duels won, 2 out of 2 aerial duels won. And if you look at the average position of Kounde and where he was effective, you can see that a lot of the times he found the ball in the opponent's box. Not bad for a player who started as a center back and converted himself into a right back. And here's the thing that does amaze me the most. When I was analyzing Kounde in his game against Atletico, I'm like, this guy actually looks convinced that he is a right back. Like, for the first time ever, he plays with a lot of authority. He does play with a lot of confidence. And that's very important because if you want to become the best in the world in your position, you must own that position and you must believe that you can be the best in the world. To me, Kounde mentally looks like he's ready to be a full-time right back. It's almost as if he has finally been convinced by Xavi that he should be the official right back for FC Barcelona and no longer even question whether he should go back into the center back role, because that was the whole narrative and story in the beginning of the season. Kounde told Xavi he wanted to play as a center back because he enjoyed his time much more in that position. But now seeing what has taken place, I feel like Xavi Hernandez got into Kounde's head and he said, you, my friend, can become the best in the world in your position, and that position is the right back. Now, let's also keep in mind that he's playing kind of like a hybrid of a center back and also a right back. For example, he defends extremely well, but he rarely does carry the ball into the final third. He's not that type of fullback. If you compare that to, let's say, Cancelo is somebody who knows how to defend and also knows how to carry the ball to the final third, something that Kounde does not do because he knows that's not his real game. As you can see here, when we compare Kounde as a fullback and Cancelo as a fullback, you can see where Kounde has his weaknesses, and that's okay because he has very strong strengths. Cancelo has much better expected assists, much better carrying abilities. They're even in defensive actions, and then you can see where Kounde is very strong at the duels, the aerials, the progressive passes. But in terms of what a fullback should be, Cancelo is there, carrying the ball, having great expected assists. Kounde is not within those realms, and that's fine. His responsibilities is not to receive the ball in the middle of the pitch and to take it to the front. His responsibilities is to receive the ball in deep areas and look for an outlet, to look for a player that's open. And also, he's given the responsibility where if he does touch the ball in a high area, it would only be just outside the box of the opponent, meaning that is why we see him overlap so many times around Lamine Yamal or either Fermin Lopez, but rarely do you ever see him carrying the ball in the middle of the field. So overall, I am extremely proud of Kounde, and I only think that he's going to go up from here. Moving on towards the next player, and I do want to speak about Lewandowski because with Lewandowski, he does need better setup. Lewandowski has been in his prime form, but even Lewandowski himself knows that he can do so much better. This is what Lewandowski had to say after the match was over. I know I have to help and support the young players, but I also need them to help me by passing the ball or sending crosses. But then he also wanted to support Barcelona and the players and what we could do in the future, and this is what he said. Against Paris, we will play in the same way as we did today, or even better. That's our goal. We know how to do it. We have great potential in this team. And so Lewandowski wants to uplift the players around him, but he also does want to say, if we're going to get better, I also expect to get better services in the final third. And to be honest, he's right. We have seen so many times where Lewandowski makes a run into the box, but sometimes we don't see Fermin Lopez set up Lewandowski well, or Lamine Yamal set up Lewandowski well. Sometimes we see Rafinha or Joao Felix not see Lewandowski make those runs into the box, and that is why we see Lewandowski constantly over and over again telling the players he needs it there, he needs it on this position. And this is going to be something that I hope they train in the near future. Like, I want these players to start talking about this, to start talking about where Lewandowski expects to receive the ball, and work this with Xavi Hernandez so in the training sessions they can really master it, and by the time you can go into the next match, you know exactly what to do and where to place the balls in order for Lewandowski to score even more goals, because even with him getting poor reception, he is still scoring a lot of goals. So can you imagine when you have Fermin Lopez, Joao Felix, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, all understanding Lewandowski even better, and then when we have Frankie and Pedri back, back, it's only going to get even better for Barcelona. Lewandowski is the only player right now with both a goal and a assist in a La Liga match against Atletico Madrid this season. He's also the first player to be involved in 3 goals in the same La Liga game against Atletico Madrid since Ronaldo back in 2016. That goes to show just how well Lewandowski has been. Honestly, this is probably his best form since like 2 years ago. The last time Lewandowski was this good was probably like back in those days when Lewandowski was just making his debut for the club. So it was almost literally 2 years ago. So if we can take this form and just maximize it, the only way that we can do that is by feeding Lewandowski even better. And so I am also very proud of the player. I'm also going to admit that I was one of those people that said Lewandowski is finished. He's 35 years old and he's backing it up, and he's backing his age up through his performances. And I said, okay, his age has caught up. He needs to leave by this summer and let Vitor Roque become the new number 9 for Barcelona next season. I was one of those people. But seeing that he's performing at a high level and he's showing that he still has the capacity to perform, I'm like, dude, if you can just maintain this level, continue at Barcelona, please, because I can clearly see that you're not done yet. You're not fatigued. You're not tired. The team was just not unified yet. And so if he continues like this, at the end of the day, age is just a number. If he's still contributing and scoring goals and providing assists, I would like to keep him for another year. And throughout next year, we can have Vitor Roque continue to develop his form and learn from Lewandowski. That's going to be huge. Also, I would like to point out, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but his crossing ability is actually really good. Like, I would put it up there with Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan. Like, his crossing abilities into the box always goes at a good speed. It's very accurate, and he sees these players, and I'm like, dude, how did you even find that player? Like, I couldn't even find that player, and I was watching it from the TV. And so bravo to Lewandowski and bravo to Kounde for uplifting Barcelona into a better position. Because of them, we would not be in second place in La Liga. Now I do want to move on towards the last segment of this video, and I do want to talk about Xavi Hernandez. And I want to say one thing yet again. Xavi Hernandez leaving this summer is going to be a huge mistake. Gerard Piqué said something before the match about Xavi, and this is what he said, and I quote, "I don't think Xavi's decision is 100% correct. Let's see. I think he will stay. I don't talk to Xavi every day, but we talked a few times. I want the best for him because it will be the best for the club." And I completely agree with Gerard Piqué. I do think that he should stay, and I have said this before in my videos. I do have a slight hope in my heart that Xavi will stay, that if Barcelona can go far into the Champions League and far in La Liga, continue to narrow the gap between Barcelona and Real Madrid, he will stay. Because it would make no sense for us to be this competitive in both competitions and only for him to cut it short very early. Like, I would try and have Laporta. Like, if Laporta, if you're hearing this, I think that you should go out there to the media and defend Xavi and say, this is not the way to treat Xavi. Xavi is one of ours. Xavi is fully protected. He's backed. You guys are wrong about what you guys have said about him, and we only want him to continue at Barcelona. I didn't really like the way Laporta has defended. I'm not even going to say defended, but I don't like the way that he approached Xavi's decision and how he did not say anything to the media. He did not show any full support. He just said, I respect his decision, and that's it. I expected much more guard from Laporta, and I want Laporta to do that in the summer and to say, I'm going to take the extra step and extra effort to have more continuity with Xavi and have him be here for at least the summer of 2026. Give Xavi Hernandez 2 more years to do what he needs to do and bring more success to the club. Because I do think that in this summer, Barcelona only have to do about 1 to 2 great signings, phenomenal signings, which is very much achievable. And then you're going to have a team that is set. Because as I analyzed this season, and I think that many of us can agree, he just needed time to crack the code. Like, everything is working well. We have the best defensive lineup with much more character. I like this defensive lineup of Cancelo, Cubarsí, Araujo, and Kounde. It cannot be touched. I no longer want to see Christensen or Balde starting in that back line when we do face a very tough team. I think that for sure it is set with Cancelo, Cubarsí as the new members of our starting defensive line. He also got the best out of Frankie de Jong this season. Unfortunately, he got injured, but he's going to come back and come back even stronger. He's a central defensive midfielder that does deserve to be paired with another defensive midfielder. We can do that in the summer and help him in the summer. And in the meantime, we just continue to use Christensen as our main pivot to support Frankie. He also cracked the code with Gundogan and Lewandowski, getting the best out of those 2 veterans. Lewandowski is scoring a lot of goals. Gundogan is providing a lot of assists. They're reaching a higher level than where they used to be. And most importantly, he has cracked the code on the youth, bringing in Hector Fort, starting him against Atletico Madrid, bringing in Lamine Yamal, Cubarsí, Fermin Lopez is also delivering. Barcelona overall have mastered finding the free man, something that we could not even do because we did not have any clarity on our movements, on how fast we should move the ball, how fast we should take the ball back and look for the free man. Like, we were not doing any of that, but Barcelona have cracked the code in all segments of the game. Barcelona have been doing so well. Xavi Hernandez has been getting emotional on the pitch multiple times. There's a reason why Xavi Hernandez has been getting getting booked, meaning receiving a red card, more as a manager than as a player. It's because he's so passionate about the way that Barcelona are playing. He gets geared up like that. Like, I don't know, it's just in his character, it's in his chemicals, it's in his blood. He loves it when Barcelona play in such an amazing and dominant way, and he gets emotional, and that is why he receives so many red cards. And so I understand that. And you know what's crazy is that for some reason, I feel like La Liga and the refs do like that, because that gives them an excuse and it gives them a way to take down Barcelona. They like the fact that Xavi Hernandez gets angry, gets passionate, because that would mean they can give Xavi a red card and suspend him for multiple games, because it has been said recently that Xavi Hernandez is facing the risk of missing El Clásico because they want to suspend him for 3 matches and have him go to the stands. And so of course La Liga is doing this. Of course the competitions committee want to do this to Barcelona. They want to see Barcelona fail. They see that Barcelona are going on a high trajectory, and now they're saying, okay, where can we hurt them? They clearly are getting better in terms of tactics, in terms of the mentality, the sporting project. They clearly have something right. How can we hurt them in a different way? And I feel like La Liga are taking this approach, meaning that Xavi Hernandez could miss the game against Las Palmas, Cádiz, and most importantly, Real Madrid. But we'll see what happens in the future. Whatever does happen with Xavi Hernandez and La Liga, we will be talking about it here in this YouTube channel. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.